I'm Tinghua Yu, and I'm a lecturer in economics at the Department of Economics, Mathematics, and Statistics. And I'm also director in our MSc programs in PPE, and I'm a member in the BEI's Equality and Diversity Committee. So together with my co-authors, my ongoing research looks at how gender norms shape and are shaped by men and women's reaction to the changes in their economic and social environment. And we have several projects going on underlying this big research agenda. And the first project, we look at how economic shocks and conservative gender norms interact to influence men's and women's political behavior. So the idea is that conservative gender norms may heighten the negative impact of economic shocks on the men, because men under the traditional gender norms are expected to fulfill their provider's role. So given that when economic shocks hit them, it makes them very difficult to fulfill this traditional gender role. So they may suffer not only from economic loss, but also from identity loss. And such identity loss, in turn, may lead to lots of negative outcomes, such as deteriorating mental health and destructive behavior, including, their behavior towards women, domestic violence, etc. And also their ability to cope with this adverse economic shock may be greater when gender norms are more liberal and such that the provider roles are shared across genders. So particularly in this research, we're interested in how this logic will affect political behaviors. And especially, we're thinking about people's voting intention for far-right parties and populist parties in Western Europe. And we are testing our hypothesis, these predictions based on our theory, and using survey data from German socioeconomic panel study. And this is very nice data set because it allows us to track individuals' employment history and their political preferences. And to further explore the psychological pathway I mentioned before, where traditional male identity threat can lead to discrimination against our group's members. And we have conducted a survey experiment among a representative population in the United States. In the survey experiment, we test whether a treatment that poses a subtle threat to traditional male identity could lead to changes in the importance that men attach to different social identity dimensions. Specifically, we're interested in their affections for our group members corresponding to these identity categories. And so these two projects I have discussed, in these two projects, we treat gender norms as exogenous, right? We assume it is given you have your certain gender norms, given the society you live in. And given that, we look at how these gender norms affect people's behavior. But in another project, we actually thinking about how gender norm in itself are shaped by socioeconomic environment. And specifically, we're looking at a female-focused gender empowerment campaign, how this campaign can shape gender norms, both on the woman's side and on the men's side. And so thinking about what's the implication of my work, to gender equality and sustainable development. And I think the key idea underlying our research is that we think gender norms are both shaped by the behaviors by both genders, right? It's not only women, but also men. Both sides can shape this gender norm. And so the research I've talked about is my ongoing research, so we have not published any results from our research. It is still ongoing, but our plan is to use the insight from the above project to understand how we can achieve a more gender equal society by taking into account of how gender norms shape and are shaped by behaviors of both genders. And so what does International Women's Day mean to me? So for me, of course, this day brings into awareness of a lot of important issues, such as gender inequality and violence against women, etc. And in this day, it also sort of, for me, I would tend to think about how much we have progressed along this dimension and how much we still need to do to bring in a true gender equal society. And on personal level, I would like to use this day to reflect on the events that, reflect how the progress we have made in this society and how I can, in my everyday life, how I can do better and to contribute to a more gender equal society, be it in my professional life or in my personal life.